Hi, welcome back. So today's session will be on the topic selection sort. In my previous video, I had taught regarding insertion sort. So selection sort is also one of the simplest sorting technique, just like insertion sort when compared to merge sort. So now let me explain with an example how exactly selection sort works. For example, if my array elements are 2, 6, 5, 1, 3 and 4, I'm taking the same example which I took it for the insertion sort. Now there are 6 elements in the array. Now why the name selection sort is given? So the basic idea of selection sort is the first, if suppose we are going to sort according to ascending order. The basic idea of selection sort is the first smallest element is selected first and then it is pushed to the front, and after that the second minimum element is selected, it is pushed to the front, third to the front, fourth to the front, and so on in the sequential order. That's why the name selection sort is given. So let us see with the iteration. The first iteration, array elements are 2, 6, 5, 1, 3 and 4. Now the assumption is the first element of the array is considered to be the current minimum. First is assumed to be the current minimum. Then there is a check between the next index value. We check whether 6 is less than the current minimum value. 6 is not less than 2, which means nothing happens here. It moves to the next index value. Is 5 less than the current minimum value? No, nothing happens. It moves to the next one. Is 1 less than 2? Yes. If this is true, what happens? 2, 6, 5, 1, the current minimum value position is changed. Now 1 has been pointed as a current minimum value and remaining as it is. Now again there is a check between 3 and 1. 3 is not less than 1, nothing happens, moves to the last index. 4 is less than 1, 4 is not less than 1, so nothing happens, the iteration stops. So after first iteration, the elements are, there is swap between, since the current minimum element found is 1, so there is swap between 2 and 1, the position 2 and 1, so it becomes 1, 6, 5, instead of 1 the value 2 will be replaced here, 2, 3 and 4. This is the array elements after iteration 1. So iteration 2, 1, 6, 5, 2, 3 and 4. 1 is already sorted. Now which is assumed to be the current minimum element? 6, the second index value. Now 6 is compared with 5. 5 is less than 6. No, nothing happened. Yes, 5 is less than 6. What happens? 1, 6, 5. 5 becomes the current minimum value. 2, 3 and 4. Now there is check between 2 and 5. 2 is less than 5. Yes. What happens? 1, 6, 5. 2 becomes the current minimum. 3 and 4. 3 is less than 2. No. 4 is less than 2. No, nothing happens. No further elements, so it stops. So there is second minimum element is identified. There is swap between 6 and 2. So after second iteration, the elements position are 1. 2 comes here. 5 instead of 2, 6 is replaced. 3 and 4. So there is swap between position value 2 and 6. Now third iteration, we have 1, 2, 5, 6, 3 and 4. 1 and 2 are already sorted. Current minimum becomes 5. Now we check 6 is less than 5. No, nothing happens. 3 is less than 5. Yes, of course. Now it becomes 1, 5, 6. 3 becomes the current minimum value. Then 4. Now it checks 4 is less than 3. No, nothing happens. No more further elements. So the iteration stops here. The swap between 5 and 3. So after trace 3, elements are 1, 2, 3, 6 as it is. 5 comes here and then 4. So this is the array element position after third iteration. Moving on further, iteration 4. So what happens? We have 1, 2, 3, 6, 5 and 4. Which is the current minimum element? 6. 6 is the current minimum element. Now we check 5 is less than 6. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 6, 5 becomes the current minimum and 4. Now we check 4 with 5. Is 4 less than 5? Yes. Now 4 becomes the current minimum. Current minimum element. Okay, now there is swap between 4 is the minimum element. There is swap between 6 and 4. What happens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as it is. 6 comes here in this position. After 4th iteration is the element position values. Trace 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. This is the current minimum. Now it checks 6 less than 5, no, nothing happens, it stops. Now after iteration 5, all the elements are sorted in the order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, now this is the actual working part. Now let me teach you the coding part, Python code for writing, finding out selection sort. Python code for selection sort. So let me define an array of elements, list 2, 6, 5, 1, 3 and 4. Then I make a function called selection underscore sort, passing array as the argument. Now since I'm making use of the function, I have to define the function using the def keyword, def selection sort, the argument array ending with colon. Then the outermost for loop, we have to trace all the elements. So for I in range, we have to start from 0th position, range 0 to len of array minus 1. Why len of array minus 1? Because after the entire sorting, we need not check for the last element, because the last element will always be the sorted one. That's why it is len of array minus 1. Now after this, I have to check between 2 to array minus, length of array minus 1. In such case, first step, what did we do for the first step? We we assumed 2 to be the current minimum index. So I'll use a variable current minimum index is equal to I. So I value, what is I value? Initially 0, so that will be pointed to current minimum index. Then the innermost for loop, for j in range, we have to check between 6 and 2. So range of 6 will be I plus 1. I plus 1. Current minimum index is 0. The next one is I plus 1, that is 6. Length of array. So we have to completely traverse the remaining array elements. So that's why it is length of array. Now what are we checking? If array of j is less than array value of current minimum index value. The minimum index value, okay, this value is less than the current minimum index value. If that is the case, we are changing the current index value position, minimum index value position. So current minimum index value is equal to j. Okay, so this is the innermost for loop, which actually identifies the minimum element out of all the array elements. And then once after finding out the minimum array element, we have to swap. So swapping is done after the innermost for loop. Swapping is done before moving on to the next iteration. That is, after this for loop, array of I, array of current minimum index is equal to array of current minimum index comma array of I. So what happens? This is the another logic which is mainly used, another logic which is mainly used for swapping. So this value will be put here and this value will be put in the second element. That's it. After that, finally I print the array. So this is the entire logic. So I'll just take a single trace and then I'll teach you. Similarly, you can proceed with the others. So trace 1. Okay, now array elements are 2, 6, 5, 1, 3 and 4. Okay, so initially for I in range 0 to length of array minus 1. So I value will be 0, 2, length of array is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. We have to move from 0 to 5. Current minimum index. What is current minimum index value? I. What is initial I value? 0. Now it will come to the innermost for loop. For j. J in range, we are starting from I plus 1. What is I value? 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. So now j value is equal to 1 to length of array to 6. Okay. Now we come inside. If array of j, if of array of what is j value 1 is less than array of current minimum index value. What is current minimum index? 0. Array of 0. So what do? We check 6 is less than 2. Okay, no, 6 is not less than 2. So what happens? It will not change the current minimum index value. It moves to the second iteration of the innermost for loop. Now again j value is incremented 2 to 6. Now it checks if array of 2 is less than array of 0, since current minimum index is still a 0. What is 2? 5 is less than 2. No, nothing happens. So it moves to the next iteration of j. J is equal to 3 to 6. If array of 3 is less than array of 0. What is array of 3? 1. Is 1 less than 2? Yes, of course. So what happens? It enters the if conditional statement. I am changing the current index position value. Now current minimum index value is equal to j. What is j value? 3. Now now minimum will be moved to this position. Okay, then again j is equal to 4 to 6. Now it checks if array of 4 is less than array of 0. Less than 0? No, it is not less. So j value is equal to 5 to 6. It checks 4 less than 1. No. So j value is equal to 6. So it comes out. Then we make a swap. Array of I. What is array of I? Array of I still value. I value 0. 0, comma. Array of current minimum index is 3 with array of 3, comma, array of 0. Now the values 2, 6, 5, 1, 3 and 4, which means these are the two index values. There will be a swap. So after first iteration 1, 6, 5, 2, 3 and 4 will be obtained. So the same procedure, it continues for the remaining elements. I hope you understood the video. Thank you.